I got tagged in a poetry tag. Thank you to Steve Donoghue for tagging me in that, and I will do it now. So I think The Desert Data is a poem. It's my favourite poem. It's one that I start by saying go Pelicity, because when I grew up I had this poem with me and it was hanging on the wall in my brother's room, I remember distinctly, and I used to read it in my head when reading was just a new thing for me, when I wasn't very good at it yet, and I didn't know all the words in the poem, but I liked the story that it told. And I imagined this young girl. The whole sentiment of the story was being behind this girl who I identified with, obviously. So I would start the poem, go Pelicity, amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. It's sort of a mantra. I don't know it all off by heart, but every time I read it I get filled with this sort of pride. Yeah, so anyway, hello Booktube, welcome to my tag video. Let's get to the questions, shall we? Do you like to read poetry? My answer to that is no, actually. I don't particularly like reading poetry, I like listening to it. Who is my favourite poet, you ask? Sarah Kay and Neil Hilborn at the moment are way up the top of my list. So what is my favourite book of poetry? I don't have a favourite book of poetry. If I had to choose a book of poetry, I think I'd have to choose Psalms from the Bible, which is a bit horrific, isn't it? So is there a specific type of poetry you like best? Yes, spoken word. Do I write poetry? Occasionally and poorly. Have you ever attended a poetry reading? No. No, I'm very scared of them. Please take me with you. Will you be participating in Poem in Your Pocket Day? Probably not. No, I don't have a printer and I don't go anywhere, so there's no real point for me to do that. Why do you think poetry is important? Poetry is super important. It's something I wish I loved more than I do. It's about exploring language, and it's a unique form of creative expression, and it exhibits the control over language as a form. So it's about honing your language skills and writing words that just really mean things and have a powerful meaning. So basically it's pretty, that's why it's important. Who do I tag? I will tag, I wrote some people down. Who did I write down? Martha Rosebud, Story Nut, and the Little Library because I really love your poems. You're so cool. Thanks so much for watching. This was my tag video and hopefully it will be usable and I don't look too disastrous. Bye. Thanks for tagging me. Bye guys, tag me in anything you like. I like tag videos. I think I'll do one on writing next. I haven't written anything in a while though. I'm bad. Naughty.